Hey everyone, today we're going to be exploring the Hudson Yards neighborhood of New York City, currently on the corner of West 30th Street and 9th Avenue. We are just south of the new Monahan train hall, where you can get the Long Island Railroad as well as the Amtrak train. So we're going to be crossing the street. We're going to be seeing a few interesting, relatively new additions to the city and the Hudson Yards. First one being the Connector Bridge. Now this is called the Monahan Connector to the High Line. It is made entirely out of treated wood, and it cost the city roughly $50 million to complete. Now, is it money well spent? I think I would say so. And the reason why I'd say that is because the Hudson Yards is a very, very big development. It is quite sprawling in nature. So it's important to kind of keep everything connected, to keep walkability high. So what do I mean by that? Well, if we zoom in on the Connector Bridge here, this will take you from the main Whole Foods as well as the main plaza from 1 Manhattan West and 2 Manhattan West, and it'll loop you all the way around and connect you to the High Line as well as by the vessel. So you see all of this traffic here that is going to the Midtown tunnel. You never have to deal with any of that as a pedestrian. You can loop all the way around and remain within the Hudson Yards vicinity without having to deal with any traffic. So in that regard, I think it's a major positive. If I quickly step over to the side, I'll try to zoom in. You can see people walking across the bridge right now. Pretty soon it's going to get a lot warmer out, and you're going to have a lot of nice greenery on the High Line, which is quite nice. I think the city has been doing a better job over the last 5 years of prioritizing pedestrians over vehicles. There's a few examples I could mention. I'd say probably the most relevant example would be on Broadway. Right as you go down towards the Flatiron Building, you have all great restaurants, coffee shops, and a double-wide expanded bike lane. And much of the street is pedestrian only. There's no vehicles. So a lot of the restaurants in the neighborhood and the community, they put out tables and chairs for outdoor dining, and it makes it kind of feel very European. If you've ever been to a European city, it's quite nice. Okay, so we're now headed westbound, and this is 10th Avenue right here. But before we go any further, I'm actually going to take you up onto the High Line, and we're going to do a walking tour of the brand new Monahan Connector Bridge, which is right here. You're also going to see a very unique art exhibit. It's this massive pigeon. Oh, this may be closed. Let's see what it says. It says this area is temporarily closed. That's a bummer. I'm not sure why. Anyway, this is looking back on the Connector Bridge. You can see the spire of the Empire State Building. You can see some folks walking over right now. We'll cross the street and we'll try to go on the other side. All of these vehicles are trying to get on the Lincoln Tunnel. But for now, we have the light. So we will cross. Tons of new condos and rental apartments all along the High Line. Lots of cafes as well. Here you have a Think Coffee and then a Little Spain. We're now going to merge onto the High Line. So we're going to walk up the stairs. This is a pretty unique view too. This is looking back towards the Monahan Train Hall and the spire of the Empire State Building. And now we are officially on the High Line. This unique looking building with all the designs on it right here is called the Shed. Very unique building. It's actually on wheels. That's the massive luxury condo building. And connected at the base is the shed that can retract. And then you have a little piece of the vessel just off to the right. Really, really impressive building here, though. So this will connect you directly to the Hudson Yards, right as you go through that gate. It'll also connect you around to the shops at Hudson Yards. But we are going to make a right and double back. And I'll show everyone the Monahan Connector Bridge, which will connect us by the Whole Foods. In the winter, the Hudson Yards can be a little brutal because it's just so windy and so cold. But in the spring and in the summer, this is one of my favorite places to be in all of New York City by far. If we zoom in, you can see the offices of The Real Deal, which is the real estate news and media company, which sits just adjacent from the Whole Foods. But the landscaping is quite nice. I really like the contrast of all the greenery with the concrete jungle of the city. And here we have that big pigeon. They have a lot of nice space for people to sit down, relax. If you work in one of these buildings, you could have lunch out here. It's really quite nice. And this is overlooking 10th Avenue here, which will bring you all the way to the Upper West Side of Manhattan. It is rush hour, so if we zoom in, you can see the line of traffic going all the way uptown to 42nd Street and all the way up to the Upper West Side. All the way up here, this is the Edge. So that is one of the city's newest observation decks that has a glass floor. I haven't personally been up to the Edge, but I still would highly recommend it. Okay, so here is the entrance to the Connector Bridge. I think you guys are really gonna like this. And this will connect us all the way back around to the Whole Foods. It's pretty cool being up here. They get great views of the city. Pretty soon you're gonna have all this landscaping come in quite nice, with flowers and leaves on the trees. The Connector Bridge even has a smell to it, being that it's made out of wood. Such a unique design. Here's one more shot looking back towards the Hudson Yards, and then up at the buildings. It's quite impressive here. I'd say this is a must visit on your next trip to New York City. All right, now let's make a right and go over the bridge, and we'll check out the plaza by the Whole Foods. Pretty soon this building is probably going to be taken down. In its place will surely be something interesting. Look at how blown out it is. Been pretty much taken over by graffiti. Now, once we make this left You're going to have the side entrance by the dining of the Whole Foods market. So if you get some prepared food or have lunch at the Whole Foods, weather permitting, you could have a nice lunch outside. And this is now Manhattan West. Hence you have those two major office buildings, 1 Manhattan West and 2 Manhattan West. And the connector bridge that'll connect you directly to the Hudson Yards. So very convenient. Now remember, this is open to the public from 6 a.m. until 1 o'clock in the morning. And here's inside the Whole Foods. Quickly take a quick peek in here. It's a pretty nice Whole Foods. It's very clean, very well kept. This is a lot of the prepared foods already. This is all the hot food. And then once you pay for your food, you can make a right and eat outside or go back to the office. Off to our left is what you call Paddle. They have multiple locations in Miami as well. It's quite cool. They've actually taken it inside. This used to be all outside. This is the Paddle Reserve. There's one in the Design District in Miami, Florida. And there's one right here at the Hudson Yards. So a lot of activities to do. And zooming up here, that's the Pigeon, where we were the last time. And this completes that full loop. More seating space out here. And then this looks over 10th Avenue. And to the corner, if we zoom in, that's the main entrance to the shops at Hudson Yards. And one more building to the right, that is 50 Hudson Yards, which is BlackRock's new headquarters. You could even see some tourists standing on the edge. We're now going to make a left, and you'll see a lot more of the restaurants that are here. I believe you have a Peloton, an NFL store, or an NHL store, excuse me. Start to see sunflowers coming in on the trees. And right as you're around the corner, you get this really nice shot of the Empire State Building. This is headed towards the back entrance of the Monahan train hall. And to the right, you have 1 Manhattan West and 2 Manhattan West. Which make up some of the newest Class A office towers in Manhattan. Pay attention to the lobbies too. Just such a grand entrance. This is 1 Manhattan West. Those must be, 50-foot ceilings at least. In the lobby, to the elevator banks, everything is super modern, very, very new. You can see all the commuters going into the Monahan train hall, either getting the Long Island Railroad, maybe the subway, or the Amtrak train. On the corner of West 33rd Street and 9th Avenue, this is B&H. Which is probably one of the most famous New York audio-visual tech stores. But we are going to make a left now on 33rd Street. And this will loop us back around to the other side of the shops at Hudson Yards. It's a really cool walk because you can see the juxtaposition between a lot of the older pre-war buildings and the brand new glass encased office towers and condos. It's quite the stark contrast in architecture, that is for sure. To the left here is a very, very good coffee shop. It's called Black Fox Coffee. They also have a location in Lower Manhattan, which is just behind the old Deutsche Bank. Here it is, Black Fox Coffee, open Monday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. This is a great spot. Would highly recommend coming here. This is 5 Manhattan West. JP Morgan Chase and Amazon. You notice all the city bikes are gone, probably because everybody is commuting back from work, right? A lot of offices here at the Hudson Yards. And here we go. This is West 33rd Street and 10th Avenue. Right on the corner is the brand new headquarters of BlackRock. You can see it right here. And this is rush hour, so a lot of people commuting back from the offices today. Now, there is a subway that goes to the Hudson Yards now. It's the 7 train. It has been extended. So the last stop on the 7 train in Manhattan is 34th Street, Hudson Yards. And the last stop on the 7 train in Queens is Flushing Main Street. We just passed the main entrance of the shops at Hudson Yards. But we're going to continue down and we'll check out the main plaza with the Vessel, as well as the Equinox Hotel, which is a 5-star luxury hotel in the heart of New York City's Hudson Yards that is branded after the Equinox gym. If you were to continue to go even further west and you were to make a right that'll bring you to the Jacob Javits Center. And an interesting story about the Jacob Javits Center, if you go all the way back before the Time Warner Center, which is now the Deutsche Bank Center, was built right at Central Park in Columbus Circle, well, that used to be the Manhattan Convention Center. And ever since they started construction and built the Javits Center, well, that pretty much put the Manhattan Convention Center out of business. It rendered it pretty much unusable. And that made the neighborhood really, really ratty and kind of nasty, right? Turned into a big homeless encampment. There was a bus stop right outside the abandoned center that would take you to see your relatives in prison in upstate New York. And it was kind of very uncharacteristic for the neighborhood, right? In hindsight, obviously hindsight is 2020, but Columbus Circle now is really the gateway to New York City's Billionaires Row. So the Jacob Javits Center really put that Manhattan Convention Center out of business and kind of destroyed that area temporarily until you had Related come in and buy the site and proposed plans to build at the time the AOL Time Warner Center. Now, if you look back in some of the filings, the renderings, and you read a lot of the articles that were written about the building in pre-construction, there was a ton of criticism. Now, you might be asking yourself, why is that? Well, I'll tell you why. Because the building resembles two towers, and many people at the time said it resembled the World Trade Center that unfortunately was knocked down in the September 11th terrorist attacks. So everybody was like, well, nobody's gonna wanna live in a building, nobody's gonna wanna do business or sign a lease in an office building that resembles the World Trade Center. Well, long story short, Related went on with the plans anyway, built the building. The AOL Time Warner Center was a massive success. They have the Mandarin Oriental Hotel in that building, massive shops at Columbus Circle. They had CNN's headquarters there, and now the German bulge bracket investment bank, Deutsche Bank, took over the entire building, and now it is the Deutsche Bank Center. So really revitalized the neighborhood and made way for the Robert A.M. Stern building, which is 15 Central Park West, which is one of the most exclusive and sought after condo buildings in New York City that is home to the likes of the wealthiest New Yorkers and the wealthiest internationals. So a little bit of an interesting timeline there due to the construction of the Jacob Javits Center right here. Here we have the vessel, which is now open, by the way. So they temporarily did close down the vessel. They've added safety precautions, and now you're able to get a ticket and go all the way up in the vessel, which is great. Seems like a lot of people are taking advantage of that and going up. And these are great views overlooking the Hudson River and New Jersey in the distance as well. To the right, this building is the Equinox Hotel and gym. It's finally a nice day in Manhattan, so everybody's out enjoying the weather for once. This is one of my all-time favorite shots here, overlooking the vessel. Here's a cool shot of the shed building. You can see how it's on wheels, and it will retract right into that little pivot that is connected to these luxury condos. All right, I'll quickly show you the West Side Yard. You'll see all of the Long Island Railroad trains. And this is pretty much what the Hudson Yards used to look like back in the day. It just used to look like this, all these trains, which is the MTA's LIRR. See the Hudson River, and this building in the distance is the Jacob Javits Center. Here's the Starbucks, really nice landscaping here too. Everything is very modern. Again, this place is fantastic in the spring and in the summer, but in the winter it is brutally cold. We'll make this right or this left and check out the main valet. Wow, look at how nice this is though.
That's it right there.
Here's the main valet to the hotel, which you have great views, by the way. Right in front of us is 50 Hudson Yards again. It's such a futuristic place. It's so unique. And this is the entrance to the hotel. And the door on the right, which is right here, is the entrance to the fitness club, which is the Equinox gym. Very nice. a nice Tesla Model X. And again, all this space is open to the public from 6 a.m. until 1 a.m. What I want to do now is show you the brand new terminal for the 7 train. Since the Hudson Yards is so far over to the west side, they needed to extend the subway in order for it to be viable for people to work here, right? If not, you would have to take the train to Penn Station and walk 4 blocks over to the office, which is not a viable solution long term. It's a very, very modern train station, as you'll see in a minute. And here you have the main entrance to the 7 train. We'll quickly head into the station just so you can see. You can see by the sign, the 7 train to Flushing Main Street, which actually is New York City's largest Chinatown. You know what? I think I'm going to spend the money just so I could show you guys all the way down underground. So let me go pull my phone out, because we wouldn't want to not pay our fare. $275 to show you guys the train station, but I think it's good for people who haven't been here yet to see it. Very, very far underground. Kind of reminds me of the brand new Long Island Railroad East Side Access Project, or as they call it, Grand Central Madison. This feels like you go down so far. See everybody hurrying to get their trains. This is probably the cleanest New York City subway station by far in the entire city. And here you have the 2 tracks. You can see this is the Flushing bound train. And then this is the train that just arrived. So you'll see there's nobody on here because it's the last stop. And then everybody's crowded into that train across the way. And they are headed back Queens bound. I just thought it'd be interesting to show you what the inside of the New York City subway looks like. Oh, looks like they're changing everybody. So sometimes that'll happen, where they'll put one train out of service and they'll make everybody change and go across the platform. All right, let's head back up towards the street level.
Everyone, train on 2 tracks, go with the next train to leave. It's going to be a Main Street bound local on 2 track.
I would highly recommend,
Main Street bound express.
if you're visiting New York City, go to Flushing. It's an amazing, amazing place.
Express on 2, about to get the lights in the lineup. Start closing out,
And it's the largest Chinatown in New York City. Very affordable too. A lot of the food is great and inexpensive. I'd recommend one dish called malatang. Malatang. Very good. It's a spicy Chinese soup dish. This is going to be the 35th Street exit. But at least this will give you a good idea of what a modern, new and clean New York City subway station looks like. Okay, and now we're back above ground. To the right, we'll have the High Line. To the left, you'll have the Jacob Javits Center. And here we are, back up on street level. It's so refreshing to see a brand new and modern subway station that's clean. I just wish the entire city was like that. Here's an interesting shot looking down 34th Street. And you can see the beautiful Empire State Building in the distance there. I believe the new Pfizer headquarters is here. Pfizer used to be right next to the Chrysler building. And now the old Pfizer headquarters is going to be the largest office to residential conversion in the city's history, which is going to sit very close to Grand Central Terminal and the Chrysler building. You can see Pfizer right here. We talked about this trend before. There's a major trend in the city of large companies dumping their old office buildings in the Class B and Class C office towers and opting for more modern office space in buildings like this at the Hudson Yards, as well as in Midtown Manhattan, which is kind of bifurcating the market, right? Because in one instance, you have very, very high vacancy in the Class B and the Class C, but Class A office towers are actually leasing very, very well and at record high price per square foot. You're talking about, $250 a foot, which is crazy. One Vanderbilt would be an example. 425 Park Avenue is another example. That's the temporary home of Citadel. And here's 50 Hudson Yards, the new headquarters of BlackRock. Okay, if you guys enjoyed that walk around through Hudson Yards, Manhattan West, and the exploration of the New York City subway station, the 7 train at the Hudson Yards, feel free to leave a like on the video, subscribe for more New York City walking tours, and we'll see you all in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.